Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time you're joining. It's good to be with you today. Um, I have been thinking about a theme for this week, and a theme of peace actually kept coming up for me the past couple of days in many forms. And so I wanted to share a couple of things with you. The first is I was at a golf tournament for my son yesterday. There was a monarch butterfly that was struggling in a puddle just on the cart path where I was standing. And I ended up bending down and helping this monarch whose wings had become laden with water, and it was struggling, so it couldn't fly. And so it came right onto my finger. And I carried this monarch on my finger for about 15 minutes. And I kept thinking about how amazing monarchs are. I've spoken about monarchs before, but also this sense of peace and contentment that I had carrying this monarch on my finger that was just trying to help itself for a period of time before it could fly off. And it was just a really sort of remarkable experience with nature. And then this morning, I was taking my son to school, and a deer jumped out of a little what would you call that? It was just like a bush, like a little bushy area. Jumped in front of the car and jumped off to the right up this hill. Like, oh my gosh, what does a deer mean, right? So I came back home right before I jumped on today, and I learned that a deer is a spirit animal, obviously, and it tempers strength with tenderness and love and compassion. It helps us tune into our natural ability to be peacemakers. And that ironically fit with all of the things that I was seeing this week and with today's theme of peace. So, to start today, I wanted to share a poem. It's by poet Dorothy Hunt, if any of you know her. And she writes, do you think peace requires an end to war, or tigers eating only vegetables? Does peace require an absence from your boss, your spouse, or yourself? Do you think peace will come some other place than here, some other time than now, in some other heart than yours? Peace is this moment without judgment. That is all. This moment in the heart space where everything that is welcome. Peace is this moment without thinking that it should be some other way, that you should feel some other thing, that your life should unfold according to your plans. Peace is this moment without judgment, this moment in the heart space where everything that is welcome. Peace is this moment without judgment where everything that is welcome. That really stuck with me, because I think about in times where we feel that so little is within our control, we can find peace at home. We can find peace in our hearts, in our minds, with our families, with our neighbors. And we can find that inner peace when we tap into the field during meditation. It sort of reminds me of that thing that they say in an airplane when the flight attendants are at the front, and they say, in a case of an emergency, put on your own oxygen mask first. And I see that meditation is that for so many people, when they feel ungrounded, or they feel stressed or anxious, that they can always put on their own oxygen mask first and find peace in meditation. So, and I feel that naturally spills over to your friends, your family, loving your neighbors more, loving the people that you associate with in the world more, and really loving the world more. So today we are going to do a peace meditation with body awareness. We are going to begin standing. We haven't done that for a while. I thought that would be a fun thing to do today. And as always, I like to mention a couple of essentials. Thoughts are okay. They always come into meditation at a certain point. And so when you notice that they're there, simply pull your mind back to the breath or the body. The second is don't try too hard to have a certain experience, just have the one that you're having. Let go of any expectations, bring your beginner's mind today. The fourth is always be kind to yourself, like a good friend would. And the last one is stick with the practice, even if it becomes challenging at some point. It's like a habit, any habit that you develop. The more that you do it, the stronger or the better you become at it. So before we stand today, let's be mindful of where we're sitting and perhaps how we're sitting. Perhaps notice where your feet are, whether they happen to be on the ground underneath you, or perhaps they're underneath you in a lotus position, or they're straight out in front of you if you're sitting with your back against the wall. And be mindful of where you're seated, where the contact points are between you and the chair or the surface that you're sitting on. Noticing the contact points, whether they're underneath you, behind you, and perhaps tuning in to the contact points between you and everything else, you and the air, where your hands are, whether they're in your lap, whether they're at your sides, how you're being supported. And when we practice mindfulness, I think you probably know what it means, but just in case, I'll share it for those who don't know what mindfulness is. It is a particular way of paying attention on purpose in the moment without any judgment, without any comparison. So simply noticing moment to moment what is true for you. And so as we sit here mindfully and notice when the mind wants to wander into the future or the past, we simply bring it back to this moment. The great way of being mindful is to return your attention to the body over and over again. I've heard Tara Brach describe it as the gateway. The body and the senses are the gateway to presence. So if you're able today, I'm going to suggest that we stand up mindfully. And a lot of people move from sitting to standing unconsciously. But what I'm going to ask you to do today is do it very slowly, coming to a standing position on purpose in the moment without judgment, and bringing your attention to everything that it takes to bring yourself to a standing position, to lift yourself and your body off of the chair and to stand. Finding a solid stance. And if you are inclined, you're welcome to close your eyes, or you can find a point in front of you where you can gaze. And let's begin by tuning in to our feet on the floor. Noticing how your weight is distributed. Noticing whether you stand with your weight toward the outside of your feet or on your toes or your heels. And gradually just allowing yourself to move a bit and settle into a place where you feel balanced. Perhaps unlocking your knees, and moving from your feet up through your legs, your knees, and your hips, all the way up to your crown. And imagining that you're zipping yourself up and pulling yourself skyward with a string. Perhaps tucking your chin slightly, giving your neck a rest. Letting your shoulders lower. And letting your arms hang comfortably. Noticing any places where you might feel any tension, any clenching or holding. Softening your face. Simply standing here and letting go of anything that you might be holding. Inviting some swaying from side to side. Just noticing what it feels like to slow way down. You might hear some sounds in the body. Stomach gurgling or knees cracking. And allowing it to be exactly as it is. The body is perfect and whole and complete. Bringing yourself now to some stillness. Noticing what stillness feels like for you. Really being present with yourself without any judgment. Tuning into the breath, the way the breath feels as it comes in through the nostrils, into your throat, your chest, and your belly. And the sensation of the breath as it moves back out through your mouth or your nostrils. Notice how the body feels to be breathed. Breathing in slowly, all the way into the belly. Perhaps putting your hands on your belly as it expands and contracts. And pulling your belly back toward the spine. We'll stand here in the stillness for a moment or two longer, and then we'll move back to a sitting position. Now releasing your hands from your belly. You're welcome to keep your eyes closed or open them, whatever is good for you. And when you're ready, mindfully and gently move back to a sitting position. And as you sit, notice what it takes not only to come to a seated position. But what it takes to come to a position that's comfortable and seated and allows you to be alert and relaxed. Noticing the weight of your body that's being supported by the seat. Inviting the body to sink into the support beneath you. Allowing the muscles of your face and belly, your hips and shoulders to soften. Allowing your head and scalp to soften. The creases around your eyes to soften. Softening the roof of your mouth. Softening the creases at the corners of your mouth. Relaxing the shoulders, the belly, letting go of any thoughts of the future or the past. Allowing yourself to tune into the peace of the stillness, the grace, the wisdom that is you. Tuning into the gateway of presence. You might tune more into your senses, the sounds around you, any flavors lingering in your mouth. Any aromas in the environment. Perhaps light coming in through your eyelids. Shadows or colors. Inhaling this feeling of peace that is here for you. Each time you breathe in, each time you breathe out or exhale, letting go of any worries, any tension you might feel. Letting go a bit more with each exhale. Breathing in peace with each inhale. And letting go with each exhale. Peace is all around you now. Inviting peace into the body. In any place you might not feel peace in the body, direct the breath to that area, inviting peace. If you notice any thoughts or any resistance that creeps in, notice that without judgment and allow those thoughts to drift away like clouds in the sky. Imagining those clouds are clearing across the horizon into the vastness around you, making space for peace. With each inhale, inviting peace, calm, a sense of hope. Breathing in peace as if it's oxygen coming into its fullness. And if you notice the mind is wandering, return to the breath without judgment. Continue inhaling peace and exhaling any worries. Releasing any pain, any discomfort, any plans. There's just you and this peace. Inhaling peace, exhaling any worries. Now making the subtle shift to peace on the inhale and peace on the exhale. There is peace in every moment. You are the embodiment of peace. Mind might tell you otherwise. You know what's true. Inhaling and exhaling peace. Peace is this moment without judgment, this moment in the heart space where everything that is welcome. We'll continue for another minute or two, and I will keep track of the time. Peace is this moment without judgment, this moment in the heart space where everything that is welcome. This peaceful expression of you meeting this peaceful moment. Inviting a few deeper breaths. Tuning in to the stillness and the peace that is you. As this meditation draws to a close, gradually bringing some movement back into the body. And tuning in again to the sensory experience around you, any aromas in the environment, any shadows coming through your eyelids, any light, perhaps wiggling the toes or the fingers. shifting the body in a way that feels good to you. When you're ready, there's no rush. So find what makes sense for you. You are welcome to blink your eyes open. Taking in the full impact of the light in your space. Taking in your surroundings with fresh eyes, with peace. I want to thank you so much for meditating with me today. If you're so inclined to bring your hands together, thumb knuckles to your breastbone, and join me in acknowledging everyone who is here today and who tunes in the future. The light in me honors and sees the light in each and every one of you. Namaste. We'll see you next time.